Welcome to Tail Talk Grooming Chronicles with Hound Therapy, the podcast where we talk all things pet grooming, daycare, academy, and more. Hosted by Shannon and Tanya of Hound Therapy, serving pet owners across North Texas. We're here to share expert tips, hilarious pet stories, and the inside scoop on keeping your furry friends happy and healthy. Our motto, humanity over vanity. And don't worry, we don't bite. Let's get started. Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
This summer, your dog's favorite splash spots might be doing more harm than you think. Let's break down what pool chemicals, lake bacteria, and constant wet-dry cycles really do to your dog's skin and coat. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Sophia Yvette, co-host and producer, back in the studio with professional groomers at Hound Therapy, Shannon and Tanya. Lovely to be back with you both today. Now, how has your day been going?
Good. Dogs have been keeping us busy today, but we're happy to be here. So,
well, ladies, today's question is a big one for summertime pet parents, and that is, how do pools and lakes affect your dog's skin and coat? Go ahead, Shannon. Kick things off.
Let's start with summer, because summer is probably one of the best times for your dogs, right? They get to go out, they get to travel with you and do those extra things they don't normally get to do.
My favorite time of year.
Yes. But it's also one of the hardest seasons on your dog's coat.
Yeah.
Whether you spend a weekend at the lake or if you've got a pool in your backyard, and we've even had a couple clients already. They're like, it's warm enough. The dog's been going into the pool, so they've been doing that in their winter cut, and it can dry out their coat. Just because they're in a lake or in your pool, it doesn't mean that they're clean.
Yes.
Lake water has got a lot of dirt stuff into it. I think that most people would say, oh, my dog might need a bath if it's been in the lake.
Yeah.
But they don't realize the chlorine amount, or even, the saltwater pools,
Mm-hmm.
they will dry your dog's skins out. Their pH is very different than our pH. So we've got to watch for that. And if lakes can cause, if you get water down in those ears, a pool is probably a little bit better than perhaps lake water. But lake water has got a lot of things in there. So if any of that water gets down inside that ear and we're not cleaning it out as they come out of the water and, on their way home, then, you're also setting yourself up for an ear infection. So now you got dry skin, ear infections, and most people don't understand this. Matting is made worse by water. So when they get wet, when they dry, I don't know if you've ever seen a rope, but if you loosen that rope and let it dry, you almost can never take it apart again because it's like fused itself together. Mats will do the same thing.
Yep, they will.
Well, if they look dry from the outside, they could be still wet underneath too. And with this humid weather, that can cause a hot spot. Ear infections can cause hot spots. And it's really an overproduction of yeast without letting airflow and things get into there. So you want to protect your dog's coat and health at all costs, but we still want to let them go out and be dogs, right? So
And hot spots can pop up in a matter of hours. It might not even be right then and there. It could be a number of hours later, and you're like, oh my God, what is this giant red spot on my dog?
And some you may not see if it's a black and colored dog or a brindle. Sometimes they're hard to see and locate.
Wow. Hot spots, are they hard to get rid of once they're created?
The hot spot itself is an oily, gooey kind of a sore, and several things can cause it. Dogs that have overactive dermatitis, or it's a moist dermatitis of sorts. There's bacterial infections. Dogs will have that all over their skin. Yeast infections on their skin, and this basically means that these dogs have a skin issue or an allergy, kind of like some people will have dandruff. People don't realize that dandruff is for dry hair. It's not really because your hair is oily. So the products that we use on that have to be different. That said, that once you see something red, if it's also gooey in texture, chances are it's a hot spot. Now, a hot spot is not necessarily an infection. What turns it into an infection is the constant digging, scratching, and licking, because they're putting bacteria into an open sore. So almost all hot spots turn out to be infected. And the only way to really get rid of them is a topical spray, usually with cortisone. You get by your vet. Your dog, if he's got those allergy symptoms, then, there's Zyrtec, there's Apoquel, there's Cytopoint injection. So all of these things you can go and ask your vet for so that can alleviate your dog's, itchiness. Uh, then you've got to, once you've noted, usually by the time you see a hot spot, it's already become infected, right? Because it's usually something much, much smaller, and you'll get it. Water can damage it. Soap, pulling the ear hair out of the ears, if it's behind the ear, leaving the dog wet or damp will cause it. So even if your dog feels dry on the top part of their coat, if
You
the
want to get down to the skin.
yeah, the underneath of it is wet, then that's where moisture is going to live, and it's going to loosen and break down, the skin structure, the cells, and it's going to itch just like it would if it was in your hair, and then they're going to start to itch it. And now, boom, we got a hot spot and an infection. So usually, steroids injection and antibiotics is what you need to make those hot spots kind of disappear, and then be proactive in the future on how to not get them again or notice them earlier so that you know what to do to treat them.
Wow. Now, getting a little bit more specific here into breeds and coat types, are there specific coat types or breeds that are more sensitive to summer swimming in general?
Yeah, I would say usually like your doodles, your labradoodles, golden doodles, those are, I mean, they're sporting breed dog mixes as well, so they're gonna like that water. And those curly coats, they act like sponges, so it's really hard to get them dry,
Yeah.
as much as you need to. That will contribute to those hot spots and things like that. And it becomes trapped at their skin, and once their skin can't dry, that's when we
And it's
create
good.
that breeding ground.
And it's gonna lock in,
Yep.
if they've got any little pin mats, that water will lock it in. So you wanna make sure that you brush them really good dry before they go to swim, and then, after they've dried after swimming, make sure that you can run a brush over them again for those types of
Yeah,
dogs.
and I would say the other problematic dogs are those double-coated dogs,
Yeah.
those German Shepherds, the Australian Shepherds, things like that, especially if they have that packed fur, which we've talked about in previous podcasts. It can't breathe, and you can't get anything to get that skin dry underneath that packed fur.
And I don't think a lot of those dogs swim. I don't see a lot
No,
of
I've seen
swimming German
some,
Shepherds
but
and Huskies, but I would
just
like
on the
to.
off chance they do.
I would like to see. I don't know that they can swim. I've never seen them swim. Um,
I've
uh,
seen an Aussie swim. I don't know
but
about German Shepherd, but
but if you can get that, if you know that you're going to be in the water, just kind of taking their coat down a little bit, which I know is huge. Don't do according to the AKC, but we do pet grooming here and what's best for the pet and your lifestyle. So that's kind of our take. We know we get the both sides of it, so we don't want to offend anybody who's got AKC dogs. I was like, I don't want to take them short. Uh,
we get it.
well, yeah, totally fine. You just need to take your advantages where you need them, and that's how to brush and how to maintain that coat after it's wet. Keep in mind that when it's humid, the air is wet. There's
Yes.
moisture in the air, so allergies, all of these things, weaken your immune system, and dogs sweat by panting through their feet, but all of that moisture can still get underneath that double coat, and cause all kinds of problems.
Wow. Now, Shannon, something that we haven't really touched on is how does lake water differ from pool water when it comes to bacteria or algae exposure?
So lakes, it depends on what lake you're swimming in, obviously,
Yeah.
and it depends on how clean you keep your pool. So, pools usually are, if your people are in them, and you follow your pool rules, it's not green, it doesn't have all kinds of goo in it. Your dog can swim in there no problem. But the chlorine itself is going to dry out just like it would with your hair. Right? If you swam every day in a chloride pool, and I mean your hair is going to be dry and brittle. So you'll need to counteract that with, I don't know, like a conditioner rinse after, they get out.
And their skin could be dry and flaky as well.
Yeah, and I used to live at the beach, so it was the same thing. We had to rinse off all the salt water and everything that was there before we went inside,
Yeah.
just because it sticks to you, and it's going to be the same with the pool. Lake water has got bugs. They've got snakes.
Bacteria,
They've got bacteria. They've got
algae.
all kinds of feces in it, right? I mean, I guess my model is if you're not going to drink out of the water that your dog is in, I would wash them after.
Yeah, like wash them with some
I
clean tap water.
I don't care how thirsty I am. I'm not drinking out of your pool, and I'm definitely not going to scoop something out of the lake for a big gulp. and that's why not? It's because there's bacterias in there. Somebody didn't clean the pool this week, or there
Yeah.
was 5 to 15 people in with sunscreen that's just built up over the top, and then you've got bugs if your filter isn't working properly. There's a lot of things that you can't see in that water that will affect your dog's skin, coat, ears, and
All of it.
yeah, and it's just something to it's just good to rinse them after they're already wet.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it doesn't have to be every day. If you're relatively clear that you have a cleaner pond, if you're at a big lake, a Corps of Engineers lake, they usually have pretty high specifics. But if it's a private pond or a smaller lake that's not a Corps of Engineers, chances are they're a lot dirtier.
Wow. Shannon and Tanya, thank you both for breaking that down so clearly for all of us today. Perfect timing for summer, and we will see everyone next time.
That's a wrap for this episode of Tail Talk with Hound Therapy. Ready to book your pet's next groom, daycare stay, or grooming academy tour? Call us at 469-367-0009. That's 469-367-0009 to schedule an appointment. Or visit us online at www.houndtherapy.com. Serving North Texas with expert pet care. Until next time, keep those tails wagging.